Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Friday session of Coding with Sam. I'm Kim, joined by Sam in the studio here. We are going to teach you how to code your membership site, even if you don't think that you're a developer. I can
Yay,
do
we're
this for
going. Yeah, you can go ahead and share my screen. And at this point, because I'm only on one screen, I cannot see the studio. So if there's any chat or anything, you'll just have to call it out to me.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be requiring a discount code for a certain level to actually complete checkout. Right now, if we were to check out on the Coding with Sam site, anybody could sign up for any level. I'm currently signed in. If I wanted to select the premium, I wonder what gateway I have on this. Well,
Fantastic
you
striker.
guys get to watch me fill out the fake credit card numbers.
Sam has a development site that's connected to Stripe in their sandbox or staging mode. So this is a testing credit card number that you can use. Stripe has a full list of the available testing card numbers.
So in that scenario, it just let me check out. I did not have to, I went to the membership confirmation page. I did not have to enter a discount code. This code recipe is going to block checkout completely if I don't have a discount code entered in the discount code field.
So the
Again,
recipe itself, it explains a little bit about why you'd want to do this. And it's called a discount code. So you might be thinking, why do I want everyone to get a discount on my site? But it's a quick way to require some kind of code wherever they received that code, right? It could have been handed to them personally by you, a unique code that's more of an invitation code that you're giving people, or it could be some way that you really want to track how your leads are being generated. So by requiring a code, you get a little bit of visibility into, oh, did I post that on my Instagram account? Did I share that in that one email I sent? So it can also be used as this tracking of lead. There's probably some other recommendations here of why you'd want to do this. Maybe you have certain
I
discount
really
codes for
yes,
certain. Oh, here. Yeah.
using in conjunction with the approval process for membership add-ons. So a lot of times there is more of an application process that you want to go through. And in order for them to be approved to go to that paid level, you want them to follow that application process on a free level so you can approve or deny them. And then if they get approved, they go to a different level for them to check out, and you can require a discount code for that level. So only approved people can actually check out for that paid level in case there was a way for them to find it, even if you don't list it on your levels page. So that's a really good use case there too.
Perfect. Okay. We yapped enough. Let's get to the code.
To the code. Okay, I guess it actually has two code recipes on the site. We'll see. The first one is requiring a discount code for a specific level. Let's see what the second one is. Oh, this is just requiring for any level within a level group. So I can explain both of those. The code will be a little different, but the user experience will be the same. So I'm going to hit this little copy button that we have on the right top corner of our code. And then I'll go back to my site and I'm going to go to the Snippets plugin. This is Code Snippets by Code Snippets Pro. Not affiliated, just love that they provide a very safe way for you to add code to your membership site. So we'll add a new one. And this will be required discount code for specific level. And what I didn't do is I pasted that in, but we are going to need our level ID number. So if I go to memberships settings, I'm opening this in a new tab so I don't lose my code. On the first settings page is your levels. These are your membership levels. I actually only have one level group. That's gonna be my main group, and there's an ID here. So that is your level group ID. That will be for the second code recipe that we do today. The one that we're working on right now when we're requiring a discount code for a specific level is going to be the ID next to the name of the level where you could edit that individual level. So for my example, I'm going to say you only can have a yearly membership if you have a discount code. So it's ID level 10. And I'll go back to my code snippet and find where I need to put that number in there. Okay, membership level discount code, membership level ID 1. So here I'm going to put 10. ID equals 10. And then under on this line 25, this is where I can do the message of what do I want to show if they don't have a discount code. So you must use a valid discount code to register for this level. I can change this to say to check out for this level or to join our membership. Whatever you want to say. And then I will save and activate it. I don't oh wait, no, I don't need to you can change this here. Any of this brown text does not affect the way the code works. It's just breadcrumbs for you to understand what part of the code does what. So anywhere in the brown text that says level 1, we can change it to level 10 just so if we're going back and looking this at a later date, we know, okay, yeah, that is in conjunction with this level. So I'll save the snippet again just because I did some voice changes. And then I need to create a discount code to actually show you how this works. So we'll go to membership settings, discount code, and I will say approved. Start date and expiration date is totally up to you. What PM Pro's rule of thumb is if it's a custom discount code for one customer, I I set the expiration date for 1 month out and I only allow one total use. If it is a code that we're gonna be using repeatedly and it's more a generic code for us to track, like, if they're restoring their legacy rate or if they are getting a discount on something that we usually have on a repeated basis, we'll extend that expiration date so far out just so we don't have to remember to go back and change it every time. We don't wanna make that a monthly process or a yearly process. So the For the discount code, the initial payment and billing amount can be the exact same as your membership level, or you can adjust it if you want to give them a different price. But if this is just more of that approval process use case where they've applied and they've been approved and now they just need to pay for the level, you probably want to keep the payment information exactly the same how it brings it over from your membership level. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm not going to change anything. We're not actually giving them a discount. It's just going to require this code to complete the checkout. So if you didn't know, when you're on the discount codes table, if you go to the far right column where it says levels, you can actually click that, open it in a new window, and it takes you right to checkout with the code applied. To show you the error message, I'm actually going to go back out of this without that code applied. I do not have the code. I could click here to enter a discount code, but I'm not going to yet because I want to show you the error. Put in my fake credit card number. Now, Kim, I am curious. There's a discount code here in the Stripe. Does that correlate with the Pay Memberships Pro discount code?
Yeah. So it is our field. So the Stripe embedded checkout fields are exclusively the card number, expiration date, and that CDC field, and then that discount code at the bottom is just where people expect it to be. So it's a design choice we probably made in 2012. There are some code recipes on our site to hide the additional one or to hide it entirely on your site. There are some people who believe that the presence of a field like that can cause some checkout abandonment where people are like, oh, there's discounts. How do I find those discounts? I gotta go find those discounts. I'll come back later once I do this. Personally, I don't know if you do, Sam, but it does put that bug in the ear. So there are code recipes on our site that can hide the field entirely unless it's passed in via the URL, which is the example you just demonstrated. Yep.
Yeah. I will say with cookies and tracking and everything that we have on just about any site you go on, if I am looking at something, I do put it in my cart and then I leave and then I wait for an email to come through of, "Oh, you want 20% off?" "Yes, yes, I do. Thank you." That was what I was waiting.
Same.
Okay, cool. So we could put the discount code in either place. Again, I'm not gonna put a discount code. And this also does not restrict what discount code is used. It just says a discount code needs to be used. It's not a specific discount code. You must have a valid discount code to join our membership. So I could not get in. But if I either click here and apply the discount code, approve, that is now applied to my order. And if I put in my fake credit card number again, oh, it populated down here already. When it refreshed, it put approved in the discount code here. Saw it. Perfect. And then I can submit and check out.
The lag here is the relationship between Stripe testing check. Yeah. So the Stripe testing servers for processing payments are a lot slower than the live ones, but they're all slow. We generally set up our sites with that Stripe offsite checkout. So the experience feels a little bit cleaner. You're not waiting for that processing phase. But if anyone was like, wow, that's slow, it's more on the Stripe testing servers than the live.
Yes. It is not the site or PM. Okay, so that was the first one where it was a specific level and we wanted to make sure that they use a discount code to get in. The
And
second
you literally had to change one number in that code
one
recipe.
number,
Knowing
that was it.
how frightening it could be or being comfortable with this thing, I think this is one anyone could safely do. It's low risk because it's code that only hooks into the checkout function thing. You want to know that you're putting it in place. You want to know that you put it in properly. But if you validate it like Sam did, it's a pretty clean piece of code to validate.
100%. The second one is any level within a specific level group. For that, before I fill the code, I'm going to go back to my settings, levels, and I only have one group. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new group, and we're going to call this courses. And than, we can allow the user to choose or have more than one level in the course in case they want to take all of my courses. That's totally fine. But for right now, I'm going to just do a one-time level in this group, and I'm gonna call it learn the basic of PHP because that's what we're doing. I'm not gonna fill it out, but there is description, confirmation message, membership account. I'm gonna say this course is $25 one time, and I'm going to say it does not expire. You can have access to this course forever. You can also have access to our PHP category for content. Very
And
generous
just a
course
note
here.
for your being as user friendly as possible, as clear as possible. When Sam demoed that checkout experience, the notification that the code was required happened after Sam completed the form. So we always advise putting something in that level description. In this case, that says an invitation code is required. You must use an access code to check out for this level. It's just a kindness that you can do so people aren't submitting information and then hitting that error after the fact. So I think the
Yeah,
article
especially
probably
if you
lists
have a
that well.
long checkout form.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I have a new level group, and the level group ID is 9. I'm not really sure why it's 9 when it's second group, but okay. So I will go ahead and copy this code recipe, and then I'm gonna go back to my code snippets. I'm gonna turn the one that we just did off, and I will add a new code, require discount code for courses level group. And then in here, we're gonna try to find where I have to change that group ID. I love this. Only bother if things are okay so far. That's one of those in the brown text, so you don't have to worry about what it says. It doesn't change the code. It's just a breadcrumb to know what each thing is doing. So on line 28, it says require group ID equals 2. I'm going to change that to 9 because that's my group level ID. And then I think everything else is good. And then again, line 43, I can adjust this message if I wanted to for the error, but I will leave it as save and activate this. And then I think my levels page will go ahead and update with that. Yes. I'm using for my levels page, I believe I am just using probably the shortcode or the block to show all of I'm just using the shortcode to show all of my levels. You can customize this if you don't want all of your level groups to show or specific levels groups, or maybe you want your courses level group to be on a completely different landing page for them to pick out once they are in your membership entirely. You, lots of ways to customize it. Okay, so I will go ahead and select this one. And again, this isn't a specific discount code. This is just any discount code. So if I just go ahead and put approved for my discount code that we've made originally. Oh, ah, I don't have a discount code for this level. Duh. We'll go back to settings, discount codes, and I will actually just be, if I edit this discount code approved, I can now also check off that the basics of PHP is going to be included in that discount code. And then if I go back to checkout and apply, there we go. Easy fix. And then my fake credit card number again. Thank you. It wasn't responding to me. There we I was able to
Awesome.
check out. If I did not have that discount code, I would not have been able to check.
So the group method is really, like Sam was saying, if all of the courses are something you want to restrict checkout for, maybe you have your main levels, people can sign up for them and then do some actions on the site to get embedded a little bit, get activated, and then they get these upsells, let's say, and access to these private things. So I think that the level group method is just, if you know you're going to be doing this for a lot of levels for that level group and you know that they're all going to have the same protections, it's just a shortcut. So you're not managing the code all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you for this demo today, Sam. And it is, there's so many ways to restrict checkout, right? We have this discount code method. If you don't call them discount codes, we have snippets to change the language of what that looks like at the checkout page. It can say access code, any of those kinds of things. Yeah, Payments Pro is very customizable through custom code, through all the settings, and there's so many ways to do things. So if you're facing a question like, how do I do this? What's the best way to do this? Post in the Slack community, reach out via our contact form. We're talking to customers more and more lately, and we're having so much fun picking apart what they're doing and dissecting it and figuring out what's going to work best because there are so many paths that you can take when you want to customize something. So we want to help you do that. So reach out and we will see you all on the next stream. Sam, have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend, everybody.
You too. Thank you, everybody.
Sure.